What's up, everybody?
All right.
So we
Yep.
decided to do things a little bit differently. We're gonna split up the
New.
segments of the podcast into a couple of different videos per week. Makes it a little bit easier to watch, a little bit shorter videos. So for this basically gambling and fantasy football
New
segment,
segment.
yeah,
Yep. New segment. Well, added on
kind
to
of
our
added on
prior
segment.
segment.
So for
Yeah.
this group of segments, we're gonna call it fourth and long shots, just because it's kind of related to
Mhm.
gambling a little bit. Um,
Correct.
So yeah, let's do the added for like the newly added segment. I should say that. So every week we're gonna do three smash bets from each person. Bob,
Yep.
you want to take the first one?
Sure thing. So we decided. I mean, just basically anything throughout the week that we may or may not be watching, sports wise. I actually all mine are football this week, but that is subject to change. I'm a big college basketball guy. I like NBA and other things too. But this week I got one NFL and two college football bets. So my first one is the Saints +4 tomorrow against Dallas. I think it's a lot of points for a team that finally needs to bounce back. They should be getting Ingram and Kamara back. Taysom Hill and that starting quarterback should be probably give Dallas some troubles because that defense has been struggling a little bit. And they're getting all these guys back. They still don't have their tackles, but I like the Saints +4 against Dallas at home Thursday Night Football.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, Bob hates all my smash picks, except for my last one. We've went over
I'm
this.
not.
He's not a big fan of them.
Not
But
a
for
big
my
fan
first
of.
one, I have New England +5 against the Bills. I think that New England is playing better football than almost anybody in the NFL right now.
This
Um,
is why we're entitled to opinions, though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly,
Everybody's.
exactly. But it's hard to bet against New England right now. Like I said, they're playing some of the best football in the NFL right now. The Bills have been struggling as of late, so I got to go with the recency bias, and especially with them getting 2.5 points, even though they're on the road, I kind of like the Patriots here. So,
All right.
yeah.
I'll go into my next one. So first college football bet. The conference championship game. American Athletic. Number 4 Cincy versus number 21 Houston. I got Houston +10.5. Um, I just think that's too many points for a conference game like this. Houston is good. Like Houston is a good team. I don't get me wrong. I think Cincy wins the game. I just think they cover that number in a conference title game like this.
Mm-hmm. Probably a short, close slugfest.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, Cincinnati's good. They have a lot of good players. A lot of guys are going to be drafted this year after this season. But Houston is also a good team. They've
Yeah.
been consistently the first or second best team in this conference pretty much since it assembled. So
Yeah.
I like Houston to cover.
Okay. And then the other one that Bob hates, I have the Colts -9 against Houston.
Yep.
Um, Bob's a big Tyrod Taylor fan, but
I'm a big
I'm gonna
Tyrod
go with
guy.
the
I just
current
think it's a
front. I
lot
would
of
say the
points.
current front runner and MVP, Jonathan Taylor in the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I
Um,
hope that happens too. By the way,
who knows? I mean, in my book, he should be. To be honest with you.
yeah. As long as
Um,
he keeps up this pace,
yeah,
I don't see any reason why
yeah.
with the inconsistent QB play. And
He
we've
he
touched
should
base
at
on
least
this a couple
be at
times.
the top of the conversation, if not
Yep.
the very top. Um,
Yep.
but I like the Colts -9 against the Houston Texans. So who you got for your third bet?
And so we kind of touched base on this already, and you're gonna learn the more we do this segment. I love dogs. I hate favorites. Love dogs. Um, Probably the most undervalued team in college football right now. You're giving me the best quarterback, the best coach, and you're giving me almost a touchdown. I'm taking Alabama +6.5 in the SEC championship game, and give me the money line +200 um, against Georgia. I think they win. I would like to see them lose, just because I want to ensure since he gets in because I think it would be cool. But I just don't think it's happening. I think Georgia
I
has
mean, we're
been
talking
getting
about Bama here. That's the thing,
correct. This is the best college football program in the country, and they have the Heisman favorite on that
and the
team.
best coach in the
So,
country too. Like
and the greatest college football coach of all
exactly,
time.
there's a
So,
reason they're Alabama. They win conference
yep,
championship games. They win
that's
national
what they do.
championship games. That's what they
And
do.
it'll really be interesting to see how the committee seeds everything in the event that this does happen. Um, because you'd have a one-loss Georgia, a
I
one-loss
don't see
Bama.
Georgia falling much lower than 2.
No,
Now, what would be
ah,
really interesting is if Michigan chokes in the Big Ten game.
correct. Which I think in that case, then Oklahoma State, assuming they win, would get in.
That'd be weird.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be very strange. You'd probably bump Cincy up a spot, drop Georgia down a spot, put Bama up to 1, and then
Mm-hmm.
you'd have Cincy Georgia 2-3 matchup, and then you'd have an Oklahoma State Alabama 1-4. Maybe they keep
Then maybe
Cincy
an
4.
Ohio
I don't
State,
know.
Michigan
They
Rose Bowl.
hate Cincy. Well, they're not going to put two Big Ten. It'll be
That'd be cool. That'd be
probably.
cool. That'd be
It'll
cool.
be no, because it's the Big Ten champion, or in this case, if it was Michigan who would win, it would be probably Ohio State versus Oregon, assuming they win the Pac-12. Whoever wins the Pac-12 is going to be in the Rose Bowl there.
Yeah.
So I like Bama this week. So you got an NBA pick, which is
I
kind
do.
of
Yeah. Kind of out of
weird
character.
for you, but I don't
So
hate it.
yeah. We were talking. Even Bob said there's nothing like a good under in the NBA. So
No,
I
not at all.
am going to take the under of two poverty franchise G League teams tonight. The Houston Rockets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm going to take under 216. Like I said, they're two very, very bad teams. I don't like their chances to score that many points. So
No, I mean, there's just two bad teams that don't have a. I mean, OKC's got two guys that can really score the ball, but they're spotty. They're not stars. And I'm sorry, Houston. Excuse me. And OKC is just they're rebuilding still. They got Shea, but they're rebuilding. I do like how both these teams could end up being in the next 4 years, though. Like if you told me that these teams are top of their conferences, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, assuming I trust both their GMs, so I don't see. But regardless, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about this under, which I do like. So
yeah, yeah,
let's get into our starts of the week here.
yeah, absolutely. Let's get into the.
So this is the usual part of our segment with
Yeah,
our starts
so-
and DFS lineups.
Mhm.
So you go. Let's go QB first.
Yeah, I'll
For
take
you.
it. I'll take it from here for the first one. For my QB, I got Kirk Cousins against the Detroit Lions. Kirk Cousins has been a sneaky MVP candidate this year. If his record doesn't,
Mhm.
if his record didn't suck, he'd probably be in the conversation.
Correct. But he's
Kirk,
putting
Kirk
up
will get
numbers,
you 20,
man.
25 points a week, and that'll be
He's
about
putting
it.
up
You know?
numbers. He's
Yeah.
throwing 2 touchdowns a game pretty much every game, and he's not turning the ball over. So I like that. A good matchup. I mean, Detroit, you're playing your Vikings this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
On another side, with a good quarterback and a great matchup, this is a get right game for the Rams. I like him to blow them out. You're playing the Rams this week. Stafford, I think he's trying to get, you know what I mean? They're trying to rebuild the chemistry with Odell. We saw him get in the end zone last week.
Yeah,
Get it going with Cooper Kupp again. Van Jefferson had a long touchdown. I like all those guys. I like Higbee. I like the running backs too. I mean, it's just play your Rams this week. Play your Rams this week against Jacksonville. I
No,
like
absolutely.
Stafford. It's kind of a safe, easy pick, but nothing wrong with safe and easy in fantasy football sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. For my running back, I have Mr. Bust onto the scene this year. Early waiver wire pickup, 6th-round rookie. I have Elijah Mitchell going against the Seattle Seahawks, who are horrible against fantasy running backs.
Yes.
Mitchell, he's been getting a lot of yards recently, but then he gets vultured by Debo for touchdowns, but that can't happen this week because
Debo's going to be probably the next 2. I mean, it looks
yeah,
like Debo's
probably
going to be out
next
about 2
1 to
weeks.
2 weeks before the fantasy playoffs.
Yep.
So yeah, I really like Elijah Mitchell.
Mitchell's
I
great.
like the.
He's been great when he plays.
Yeah.
He's been great when he plays. He just got to stay on the field.
Yep.
But he's been
He's
great when
healthy
he
right
plays.
now. That's the most important thing. So I like Elijah Mitchell this week.
Yeah, I don't hate that play whatsoever. So my running back, I got Myles Gaskin. Similar situation, kind of in San Francisco, where they were struggling. Now they're kind of going on a little bit of run. I've mentioned this before. Odd number weeks, Gaskin scores 10 or more points. Even number weeks, Gaskin scores under 10. He broke that last week. They got a good stretch of games coming up at the end of the year here, but this matchup in particular against a banged-up Giants team and a pretty bad defense overall. And there's a decent chance they blow them out with no Jones, who hasn't been great to begin with. And the Giants' offense has been abysmal. Their only touchdowns have been a left tackle and their 4th-string tight end catching a ball in between his legs.
Yeah.
So there's a decent chance Gaskin gets a lot of work. I think he's finally emerging into that role. A lot of people thought he was going to be at the beginning of the year because he's easily the best back on this team.
Oh,
And he's
absolutely.
a good back.
I mean, who
He's
you
RB
got over him? Like Salvin Ahmed?
No one.
Like nobody.
No
Yeah.
one. Literally no one. He's RB14 on the year, believe it or not.
He's
it's
just had
his
some really
points-
big games, like, and then some
Yeah,
duds.
so it's just
you
been
know?
his points per game is a
Yeah.
little lower than you'd like, but he's borderline. He's on the borderline of a high RB2, low in RB1, and there's a good chance he could finish the year like a top 10 running back here.
Yeah.
With some of these matchups. But I like Gaskin. running the clock out against the Giants this week.
And I like his teammate. Jalen Waddle has pretty much broken out along with Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah,
Um, Over the
all
last couple
three
of
of the
weeks,
rookie wide
like you said,
receivers.
yeah, I mean they're playing the Giants. So it's a good team to play.
But low key, he's gotten the least hype out of all of them, and like he's the wide receiver 10 the last month.
Yeah,
He's kind of been playing. He's been the most consistent,
yeah,
even over
he,
Jamar, who's been amazing.
yeah,
But
especially over the
and
last month.
Devontae,
I mean, I
yeah,
think the
yes,
last 3 weeks
yes,
he's scored like 14, 20, and 32.
yeah.
Um,
No, he's been
and he's
great, and he's
gotten
getting the
like
end
over
zone now.
10 targets in almost all of those games, I think.
He's getting in the end zone
Yeah,
now, and he's catching these intermediate routes. He's kind of like we said, he's kind of turning this like Deontay Johnson role, and eventually we're hoping that this over the top speed that he has, because we've seen him do it in college
absolutely.
so much, and coincidentally with the same quarterback that he has currently do it with. Um, I'm excited for Jalen Waddle going forward, dynasty, everything. I like Jalen Waddle a lot, so I don't hate that play. The Giants defense has been bad too, like we said, bad, bad. You play your players against good matchups against bad defenses. So, um, I know you like this play.
I do. I do.
Granted, and Seattle's been rough. I got Ayuk pretty much filling in the Debo role. I don't think we're going to see him lining up in the backfield, taking
That'd be
his
pretty
own
funny
read.
though.
And oh my God, that'd be awesome. But we're going to see a lot of Ayuk this week. He's now pretty much the most dynamic guy in that offense since Debo's gone.
And George
Um,
Kittle's banged up. He's been banged up all year.
right, but we'll get into Kittle in a minute. But I like Ayuk pretty much filling into Debo's role. Heavy dosage of Ayuk targets when they're throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So I like Ayuk.
So mine is actually Noah Fant.
Yeah,
A little bit of like a sleeper pick, I would say, more than
kind
anything.
of. But like he's getting the air
He's
yards,
been
man.
better.
He's been getting some of them. I think he's probably top 3 in air yards.
Yeah,
Early on in the year, he was the number 1 air yard tight end. I think for the
yeah.
first 5 weeks of the
And the other
season.
thing is, he plays Kansas City. I like this. I kind of like this as like a sneaky shootout game. Like I could see this
Sure,
game being like
for sure.
32-22 or something like that. I still
Even
think the
more. I
Chiefs are gonna
mean, I
win.
could see.
Yeah,
I think the Chiefs win because they're just the better team,
yeah.
and
But
for the same reason I liked the Broncos last week, because the Chargers are coming off that big win. The Broncos are coming off that big win at home.
mm-hmm,
That's why I like the Chiefs to win it. But that's a
yeah,
bit. I think it's a 10-point spread on this game.
something like
So
that. Yeah, but
I mean, if that stays true and the Broncos are trailing like that, though, who are they throwing the ball to?
yeah, I mean,
Everybody. I mean, they're throwing the
they're
ball.
throwing the
They're
ball to
throwing the ball.
everybody,
Granted, they have good
But
weapons, but like they're
he's their
throwing the ball.
security blanket, you know.
He's their red zone threat. He's their number
Yep,
1 red zone guy. I mean, he's a power forward in there. He's an athlete.
yep,
So
absolutely.
I don't hate that play. I like Noah Fant. I like Noah Fant a lot.
Yeah,
So I kind of went easy route on tight end and quarterback. I have George Kittle. Oddly enough,
but I mean, if you think about it though, Kittle
you're
hasn't been an auto start this week, like this year. I mean,
um as of late he has. I mean, last 3 weeks he's been very good. And like I said, no Debo Samuel. So when they're throwing the ball, they're throwing it to Kittle. They're throwing it to Ayuk. Red zone. I mean, who knows what they're gonna do in the red zone? They like to get
yeah,
creative.
exactly.
Next, thing you know, we're seeing George Kittle handoffs. So you never
Hey,
know.
that's
Maybe we
Shanahan
might
makes
see
for
a
good
George.
TV. I would say
We
that.
might see a George Kittle jump pass for all we know. You never know what you're gonna get with Shanahan. You never know what you're gonna get with this offense that's full of just playmakers and athletes. So you can't. I mean, if you have George Kittle, you like I said, you're probably already starting him. But I guess this is extra assurance. Like I think George Kittle could have a top 3. He could be the tight end 1 at the end of the week. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Is how much
that's
I
fair.
like George Kittle.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that's our starters. Let's
yeah.
go
We got some sleepers
sleepers.
though too. Um,
You got 3. I got 2.
yeah. So I got Michael Gallup. I see that Amari Cooper is actually still dealing with some COVID stuff. Um,
Correct.
and
And I mean, CD's not
and he's not
100%.
100% either. So
No
I
one.
would like a
It's
big game
not
from Gallup this weekend because he's honestly their most or tomorrow I should say. He's
correct.
honestly their most healthy receiver right now, and
Yeah,
I think he got
it's
like
no
what
one.
13 targets last week or something like that
Yeah,
when he was the
I
guy.
mean, and Dak missed him on a touchdown too. I mean, it took a while, but he still had.
He still had like 21 fantasy points or something like that last week
No, I
too.
think it was. Well, he had 100 yards.
Yeah,
I know you do like those DraftKings type rules with the one league, but I think he had 15 in a regular full PPR league, which was fine. And
still
then Dak
fine.
missed
It's
him on a couple.
wide receiver too, you know.
Dak missed him on a couple throws, and he missed him on a wide open touchdown in the end zone, like
Yeah,
late in the fourth
yeah,
quarter. So he could have been almost a 30-point day for Gallup. Um, if he's the number 1 guy again, absolutely you're starting him. If he's the number 2 guy, you're starting him.
probably.
Number
Yeah,
3 guy, if he's the 3 guy, if all those guys come back, I mean, I still don't hate Gallup. Obviously, you bring him down on your board a little bit where you'd rank him and your expectations for him for the week. But um, overall, this could be a big smash play for Gallup if
Yeah,
he's the number one
absolutely.
guy. Why don't you go into both of your other guys too
Oh,
while you're
okay.
at it?
So I got Javante then to pair with Noah Fant. I feel like Javante's about to have a very like breakout potential at the end of the year. He has a good
Yeah,
schedule for it. They play the Chiefs this week, who are pretty bad against the run. They have been all year, but
and he's coming off a great game against the
exactly. Yep, he scored
Chargers.
a
Great game
touchdown.
against Chargers. And he
He had a
still
big
only
long
had
catch. He
him
had
and
like a
Melvin
50-yard
Gordon.
catch too.
I know, and him and Gordon are still pretty much splitting the carries
The other thing is Melvin
50-50.
Gordon's questionable for this week too.
Correct. So the event that Javante Williams
Is the
comes
guy.
in and is the guy,
I would
he's an
say
RB1.
borderline RB1. I would say
He's
low end
pretty much an
RB1.
RB. He's an
Yeah,
RB1. Like at the end of the day,
yeah.
with the way that he's been running the ball.
Because he's been playing well. I mean, to be honest, like Melvin Gordon's gone after this year. There's no way he's not.
Oh yeah, and he's been good. Like I will say, Melvin's been pretty good
He's
this
been all
year.
right. Yeah, I mean
But
nothing special, but
there's a reason they drafted Javante, knowing Melvin's
exactly.
he's at the end of his career here. There's a decent chance Javante comes in and takes over like a bell cow type role, like we've seen with um, like with Jonathan Taylor over the course of like his rookie years. Very similar situation,
Yep. Hmm.
kind of, where Taylor splitting carries with a vet back, and then he finally became the guy and
Yeah.
it took off, shattered things. So Javante could be in a very similar situation. Go
And
into
then the
Pollard too.
last one I have is
I well, I
Tony.
gave it
Yeah,
away,
yeah.
give it away,
So
but
the last one I have is Tony Pollard. Um,
yep.
it's weird, man. You look at Twitter and it's so polarizing with Cowboys fans. Um,
Yeah.
like, is is Pollard better than Zeke?
Um,
Like, is he?
he's
I feel like
faster,
he's
but
more
no,
dynamic. I would say he's more
sure.
dynamic.
He adds a something to the Cowboys offense that Zeke doesn't have. Zeke doesn't have that burst
No,
getaway speed
not
anymore
really.
like he used to. Doesn't have that. He's still the power back because um,
He's a little bit like a little
Pollard
smaller.
cannot run over guys. He cannot run over
No.
guys like Zeke, and Zeke is still more valuable on passing downs when you need a blocker because he's. I still think Zeke's the best passing block in the game. However, Zeke has got this knee injury. He's gonna play. He's been practicing, but it doesn't make any sense for me to see why they wouldn't put
Put
Pollard in the
exactly,
game
especially
even
on a short
more.
week. You know, get Pollard some extra snaps this week.
Sure.
Get him a good fantasy game. Maybe he scores a
Yep.
touchdown this week.
Yep.
Then
I mean, he had a
give
he had a
that
100-yard
like kind
kickoff
of like a
return last week.
semi rest week for Zeke because I don't know like if I have Zeke this week I'm sketched a little bit to be honest with you, especially against
Absolutely.
that defense too. The Saints defense is rock solid
It's the
against the
best.
run.
It's pretty much the best run
Yeah, I would
defense.
say so.
That's another
Yeah.
reason why I like the Saints. Like we said in the segment
Hmm.
earlier, why I like them to cover that
Yeah.
number. I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if the Saints win because they've been
Yeah.
on this skid and they're getting Taysom. And they should be getting Ingram and Kamara back. At least Ingram. Pretty good chance Kamara plays too. And everyone knows like when Alvin Kamara plays, I mean
He
phenomenal.
just makes that team better. Obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's phenomenal. So I would not be absolutely shocked if the Saints pull this one off.
Yeah.
Dallas is weird because like I wouldn't be surprised if they won the whole thing, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they got bounced in the first round.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, they're
You know what I
Dallas.
mean?
They're Dallas. Yep.
Like if Dallas ended up winning the Super Bowl, I'm like, yeah, I could get it. They got a good quarterback, they got good weapons, they have some good players on defense,
Hmm.
and then like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if they just get bounced in the first round. You know,
Yep.
so those are your three. I
Yeah.
only
So who
have
do you
two.
got two sleepers, don't you?
Kendrick Bourne, who's been playing great
Yeah.
overall. I mean,
Hmm.
he's been great. And him and Mac have really developed a good chemistry. He's been a great deep threat for them. Um, Tough matchup against Buffalo because they've been one of the better defenses this year. Uh, I believe, like I said, I don't necessarily love the your pick of them covering that number and potentially winning. I think they're going to be down. I think they're going to have to throw the ball. So that's why I like Bourne. I like Buffalo at home to kind of, I don't want to call him little brother because Buffalo's been their little brother, but overall, you know, we're talking about Josh Allen, who is funny. I want to bring this point up. It's kind of off topic, but relating to this game, Josh Allen's numbers are worse than Patrick Mahomes this year, and people are considering Josh Allen like one of the MVP favorites, and people are saying Mahomes are having a bad year. They're very similar numbers.
I just don't see how
Um,
you can have anybody else but
it, it's
Aaron, Tom
it's just
Brady, and Jonathan Taylor at the top right now. Those three
it's
guys should be
so
the those three
it's
guys should
funny
be
to
the
me
only
how
people in the conversation right now. That's how horse shit everybody else has played this year.
and maybe I mean, I would say Kyler if he didn't get
He got hurt
hurt
though.
because he was
It's
playing so
hard to
damn
tell.
well.
Yeah,
No, I mean, he could if he goes on a crazy run and like runs
yeah,
the table with everybody.
but we can't tell that
Um,
right now just because he hasn't played in like
no,
4 weeks
nope,
or whatever.
no, no. He should be back this week. He's still questionable. Like it's not guaranteed he comes back. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
but like I said, but just a side note with Josh Allen, everybody loves Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen myself. I want to cool it on this. Like he's the best quarterback in football. He's a lot closer
He's
to like a
still
Carson
raw.
Wentz.
He's still raw.
He's still a lot closer to a Carson Wentz than he is to like a Rodgers or a Brady or a Mahomes. Like those Mahomes' numbers are, like I said, pretty much identical, and he's like everybody's talking down on him. Maybe that's just because of how good Mahomes is.
Hmm.
Um, but that's just a little something I wanted to add. A little off topic. I'll get in my last sleeper. Taysom Hill, rushing upside. Depending on the type of league you're in, oftentimes leagues are only 4-point passing touchdowns.
Hmm.
So Taysom's not bringing you anything there, but in the red zone, the only reason it scares me, like especially because I'm like a Kamara, I'm very heavily invested in Alvin Kamara this year on a lot of my teams. He comes in the red zone, and the next thing you know, he's stealing the touchdowns from Alvin,
Oh, my
and
buddy
he's not
hates
dumping the
it.
ball off as
My
much.
buddy has a like burning passion and hatred against Taysom Hill because of that exact reason. He vultures a lot of
Yeah,
touchdowns from Alvin Kamara.
he, but I do want to believe they're going to throw a little bit more dump off type passes with Taysom, make it easy for him,
Hmm.
and Alvin coming off that injury. Plus, like they said, they don't have those tackles, so you got to get the ball quick somehow. So,
Yeah.
but either way, I like Taysom with his rushing upside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. That's kind of what it's
Yep.
all about with these athletic quarterbacks in fantasy.
So
So
yeah, let's hop over to the DFS stuff then.
next segment.
Yeah, sure. So you want to go first? That QB?
Sure, I have. Actually, I'm an idiot. I didn't pull my prices, but I have my lineup here. I have Derek Carr at my quarterback spot, though.
You have Derek Carr?
And
Okay.
yeah, I know he doesn't have Waller.
But
However,
he has Deshaun Jackson over
still
there now.
he's still and Hunter Renfrow has been great so far this year.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm pulling up. I'm pretty sure he's 6K. I didn't. I
That
forgot to write
sounds
it
about
down.
right, to be honest with you.
6K. Yep, 6K on the nose against the 32nd ranked defense against quarterbacks. So I have Derek Carr.
And I have your boy Jalen Hurts for 7,000 against the
He's got to bounce back,
New
right?
York Jets. He has to, right? Especially against the Jets. This is a get right game. Talk about Stafford in the same situation.
He had a dog shit game
Yeah.
against the Giants. But he had Jalen Rager drop 2 touchdown passes at the end of the game, and he threw 3 red zone interceptions, which is unfortunate. He still had 70 yards on the ground. I mean, he even still could have like a mediocre day fantasy wise, just because of his rushing upside. And let's you know what I mean, if he just throws 1 touchdown pass
Yeah.
last week or
Hmm.
runs one in, like you're not happy about it. You're like, all right, whatever. You got me 16 points. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, kind of thing. Like
Hmm. So who you
he
got
had
at running back then?
Gaskin. I got
Fair enough.
I got Gaskin in there. 5,800, great matchup. I think I mean, you could see Gaskin explode for a good 20-point game this week. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, yeah. I actually have a weird baller. I haven't put him in my lineup for a while, but I have Antonio Gibson.
He
So
might be back.
he had
Is he back?
36 touches on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Got a nice 27-point fantasy points, depending on your league, obviously. But
It seems like he's healthy again.
It seems like that bye week really did him well, I will say.
Yes.
And he's sitting at 5,700 against the
It's cheap
Raiders, who's the 28th against the running back position. I think
This is
a smash play for
this is a
Gibson.
game. This is a game that probably shoots out. I mean, any Raiders game probably seems like it should shoot out.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yep.
And like Washington's defense is bad. The Raiders defense has been bad. Carr and Heineke have been putting up honestly pretty good. I mean, even Heineke has been putting up decent points fantasy wise for people.
You know what's weird? He's like he has the third most QB1 games in fantasy this year.
As in being a top 12
being a top 12 quarterback, he has the third most in the league.
And I'm not shy. He's had a lot of games. And granted, he's not even been running the ball as much as he was like in early on in the year.
No, he's been getting it done through the air. Like he throws 2 touchdowns and gets 280 yards every week. Maybe he throws a pick.
Yeah, and it is what it is. You live with the 1 interception for having an okay game. I mean, even last week, he only threw the 1 touchdown. He still had a decent game.
Something like that.
Against Seattle.
But
it was a slugfest and a half. But
yeah. Who do you?
I like Gibson. I think Gibson's back. I got Jamal Williams filling in for DeAndre Swift, $5,400.
That's pretty solid. pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a good price for
Against
Jamal.
Minnesota
And it's
too. I
not
mean, their
like
defense is all right,
it's
but
not
it's not
their
like
defense is
it's not
okay,
crazy.
but
Yeah.
they gotta give someone the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I still don't think Detroit. I'm convinced Detroit doesn't win a game this year. At this point,
Yeah.
but someone's got to get the ball in this offense, and no
And the
DeAndre Swift.
receivers are
I
not
think
getting the
it's
job done, and Hawkinson can only
no
do so much.
correct. So I think it's a good play for Jamal Williams with DeAndre Swift out.
Yeah. So I'm going with my second smash play of the week.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor, I'm paying up this week against the Houston Texans. I'm just paying up for 9,200. I never do this,
Yeah.
but it seems
Look at his
fitting.
points per game.
It seems
Look at what he's done
fitting.
this
I
year.
mean, he's got 25.5 points per game. It's going against the Houston Texans. It's pretty much a recipe for success, if you ask me.
Yep. Yep.
So
Pretty self-explanatory.
who
Let's
you
go
got at,
wide receiver one.
yeah,
We
who
got the
you got at
same
wide
guy. We
receiver?
both got Ayuk.
We
both
both
got
have we
Ayuk
both
here.
have Ayuk for wide receiver one.
Yep.
Solid value, 5,600, no Debo. Probably catches a touchdown. To be honest with you, I mean, it's either him or Kittle's going to catch a touchdown in this game. Who
But I
else do
still
they
just
have?
think
Starfield.
he still
Like
he still has a good game yardage. I mean, probably good 7 catches, 7 yards, safe, pretty safe
I would
floor.
yeah,
Like
I would
14
say for the
points.
first time this year, Brandon Ayuk has a solid floor this week.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. As crazy as that
Pretty
sounds.
much. So I'll go to my wide receiver 2. Same price. Darnell Mooney's been a stud this year.
Yeah. Allen Robinson might be coming
Overall.
back, but I don't think that's mattered throughout the entire year because
Mooney's just been burning dudes.
yeah, I
He
guess
had a
it's
great
just
game. He had 17 on Thanksgiving. He's
Yeah.
been having great game after great game. I mean, if it wasn't for the beginning of the year, the inconsistent like quarterback play with like Dalton and Fields feeling it out, what the NFL was like his first couple starts, I mean, Mooney would probably be a wide receiver 2.
yeah.
And if he is your wide receiver 2 this week, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't hate
Especially
it.
if he's in your flex, I would feel pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
But,
it's a good matchup. I mean,
yeah.
Arizona's not like phenomenal secondary, so
Mm-hmm.
and they should be behind in this game, so he
Yeah.
should be getting a good amount of targets.
So yeah, I'm going with the rookie. I'm going with Elijah Moore. I have like a lot of pieces in this game in my lineup because I have this weird feeling it's oddly going to be like kind of a shootout, even though Zach Wilson's going to throw 3 picks, but he's also going to throw 3 touchdowns. Maybe not, but who knows? But I have Elijah Moore. Good value pick, I guess, at 5,500. He's had like 8+ targets over the last 3 weeks.
Well, I mean, look at how much his price has been going
Yeah,
up week after week
exactly.
after week. So
It hasn't. Last week he kind of like not really let you down. I think he had like 10 points or something like that.
yeah,
But he had 8 targets still. So
I mean, he can't
that's
score
what you got to
35
do in
every
advantage
week.
football. You got to follow the volume.
Yeah,
It's basically what you got to do. You know what I mean?
and he seems to be like Wilson's guy. We talked about that last week too. He kind of seems like he's Wilson's favorite guy
Yeah.
overall.
Mm-hmm.
So wide receiver 3, I got my stack. I got Renfro, no Waller. Derek Carr loves him. He's a safe play, and I think in this matchup too, against the 30th ranked secondary in football,
Mm-hmm.
no reason for, Hunter Renfro not to have a good game. So
Yeah.
and with no Darren Waller.
I have Devontae Smith in that same Philadelphia New York Jets game.
Yes.
Only at 6,100. He kind of posted a dud last week, but that's what he's been doing all year. He plays 2-3 straight games. There's 100 yards and a touchdown.
Well, and that also
then
has
he
to do with
has
some
like
of the
4 points. That's just Devontae Smith.
it has
That's
to
what
do
he's been
with
doing.
some of the inconsistencies with Jalen Hurts too.
Yes.
Like it's not
But
completely his fault.
I have the stack this week with Jalen Hurts. Catches a touchdown.
Mhm.
It's bonus. He's sitting at 6,100, so it's pretty much I had picked Jonathan Taylor, so I had to go cheap somewhere, and I went cheap on wide receivers.
Sure. Sure.
Jets are an awful team, so that helps out. So
Tight end, I paid up. I don't love it, but I just feel like he's due because of the injuries. I got Gronk 5,300
okay,
against Atlanta.
all right.
He
There's
had
still
2 touchdowns
probably
against
no
Atlanta.
AB this week still.
Right, week 2 he had 2 touchdowns against Atlanta. I think Gronk got back in the end zone last week.
I don't know
Didn't
if
he?
he did or not. I'm not sure. I know he had over 100 yards.
Gronk had no, he did not get back in the end zone. He had 22 points, he had 7 catches, 123 yards, and that's obviously what the DraftKings bonus.
Yeah.
But 5,300. He had 2 touchdowns against Atlanta week 1. Gronk's been good.
Yeah.
He's honestly been good when he's played as a tight end. He's been
Same thing with
he was
Antonio
the
Brown.
number
He
1
just
tight
haven't
end.
played.
Correct. So Gronk, I like Gronk this week, and I'm playing him. I paid up for a pretty pricey tight end.
Yeah. I paid $4,200 for Pat Fryermuth against the Baltimore Ravens. Um, I don't know. He was kind of there at 4,200. He's been solid. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Usually it's good for a touchdown every game because Ben can't throw it down the field anymore. Um, but they're going against the Ravens. Believe it or not, are 26th against the tight end position in fantasy. Um, and Fryermuth's sitting at about 10 points per game. So he's
Sure.
my value pick, I guess, this week. If he gets you 10 points, it'll fill the position pretty nicely, I guess.
Yep. Yep. So flex, I
Yeah, who you got
paid
in your
up.
flex?
I got Najee,
Najee.
7,700.
How
Yep.
much? How much is he?
7,700
It's not bad.
against Baltimore. No, I think it's a pretty decent price for a guy with a pretty good floor. He's RB4 in the season fantasy
It's
wise.
crazy.
He's I mean, he's been so good. I've told people like he's my first. That's what I'm taking number one overall next year. If I have that
No,
opportunity, I'm
no.
taking Najee number
I'm
one.
taking JT.
I
Come
respect that
on,
pick,
man. Come
but
on,
look at all.
man.
I can't take the conventional guy anymore because after
They always
looking at
get
these last
hurt.
couple of years, yeah, they keep getting hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Najee will still be like a top. He'll be like how Jonathan Taylor was. He was like RB6 coming into the year.
Yeah, I get, he was like
You know,
taking like anywhere from 6th to 10th or something like that this year in drafts.
yeah. So like I think Najee's gonna be in a similar boat, like probably ranked RB4 to 6. So
Yeah.
he's my number one. That's what I'm taking number one overall next year. So
It's a weird strategy, I guess.
it's a weird. I can't take the conventional guy anymore. I got burned on Saquon last year with the second pick.
Hmm.
You know, it's been happening to me way too much. Julio Jones a couple years ago when everyone loved receivers, when PPR got really big,
Yeah.
got hurt and was trash. Like I'm tired of taking these. I took Zeke in a lot of my drafts this year. He's been okay. He's
It's kind of worked
RB7.
out, I guess, but
I'm happy I moved off of him in pretty much every league I had him in. So, um,
yeah. So
but regardless, that has nothing to do with DFS. I like
nothing.
Najee against Baltimore. We like to ramble on. We like to talk about get good conversation going about sports and fantasy in particular in this segment. But Najee's 7,700 and he's been averaging 19 points a game this year. And like you said, does not have the arm strength to throw it down the field like he used to.
No, just doesn't.
Najee's been getting the dump offs, and Najee plays. I think he has the most snap share out of any running back in football.
Probably, yeah. So yeah,
So
that's solid flex play, I would say. Mine, I'm going with old reliable. Not exactly at all, actually.
no,
Same
if it was
price.
week one,
Yeah,
if it was week one, I'd be like, absolutely. But
yeah, same price,
cut touchdowns
4,200.
week.
But I'm going with Deshaun Jackson against the Washington football team. Um, Deep threat on the team, I
Yeah,
guess. I
yeah.
don't
I
know.
mean,
It's kind of a pun, I guess, but
he
we'll see
kind
how
of
it
came
goes.
in the pretty much filled in Henry Ruggs' role.
Yeah,
Um, and like you said, Carson playing good this year. Defense, I think we both pretty much went value. Oddly enough, I took the Giants
yeah,
because you never know. Tua could be good for a 4 interception game. You just never know with Tua.
yeah.
So
And oddly enough,
I'm gonna,
I did take the football team, even though I have Deshaun Johnson.
yeah,
Deshaun Jackson.
yeah,
He's gonna catch 3 passes for 100 yards and a touchdown if he does something, and if he doesn't, he's gonna get 0 targets. So it doesn't really matter,
sure, right. Yeah, I
So
mean, like we said, a lot of these times with these DFS lineups
you got
were
to
just
punch somewhere. It's like
yep. What is your cap salary at?
I think I'm at the cap. If
I
not,
was
I'm like
$100. I was just
$100 away.
100 under. Yep, I was 49.9. So
So,
um, we
but yeah,
will. Who won last week out of us? By the way,
I
do
forgot
we
to
know?
check, man. I really did. I want to
Who
say probably you
is?
because I had
Oh,
Cam Newton.
yeah,
I had Cam Newton and
yeah,
Brandon Cooks, which did not do very well at all. The same with Elijah Moore and Kyle Pitts.
yeah.
The only good picks I had was Deontay Johnson, Javonte. I don't even know how
Right.
James Robinson did. DJ Moore did all right. Yeah, you probably won. You probably won if I'm guessing.
I had Taylor, Cup, Tyrod,
Yeah.
AJ
You
Dillon.
had MVS though.
Yeah, did he? I don't even remember what he did.
He had a decent game. I'm thinking. I'm thinking
I
you might have
probably,
won. I'm not sure, but my
probably
quarterback got like
more.
-1, so
Yeah, it's
it's
probably we'll
probably a
go.
safe bet
I
to
mean, because
assume you won. But
Tyrod still had a decent game last week.
yeah.
Probably like
So
15 points, I think.
that'll probably do it for this week's segment of Fourth and Long Shots. Um,
Sounds good.
expect another video out probably either tomorrow or Friday. It's gonna be filmed tonight, obviously, but yeah. So anything you want to say?
Got nothing. I mean, we're just gonna, if anybody has any suggestions of
Absolutely.
anything they'd like to
Yeah. Just
see, um, we could do. I know I enjoyed the over under segment, so if anyone wants to do that again, we can put another poll out on the IG too for that. If anyone wants to do that and give us some more names,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be football too. We can do basketball. We can do whatever.
Yep.
So
All right.
um
Yep.
yeah, I think that wraps it up for me. So
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.